We met each other a long, long time ago. When exactly, I can't recall. It must have been before they put the first words into my mouth, before I put the first words into my mouth myself. It was love at first sight, but without any sight, without any eye contact. It was more like love on the first beat. It was love on the first beat, spicy, hot, and sweet. I still remember the song, Smooth Operator by Sade. Oh shit. My body instantly fell in love. I started to dance and feel the heat. It was love on the first beat. Beats from the motherland. Oh, so sweet. I was dancing in the bedroom, in the ballet studio, and on the street. I was rhyming in German, singing in English, and in between, I was dancing on the beat. It was love on the first beat. Spicy, hot, and sweet. It was the beat. It was the music. It was this powerful force outside of myself that drew me in, that drew me away from myself. You probably can't imagine, you see me here on stage now, but when I was a child, I was really, really shy. I was shy to a degree, it wasn't even funny. My grandparents, they had a family business, and I spent a lot of time with them because my mom was a single mom and she was working all the time. And we had a lot of customers and guests over at our house, and every time the doorbell rang, I was hiding under the table. I was scared, like for real. But when I was by myself and there was music, there was no more fear, no more shyness. There was a newfound confidence in myself. When I was dancing, there was space, there was room, there was so many things for me to explore, so many roles for me to play that I was too scared to do in real life. I started classical ballet training by the age of 6. They put me there because I had flat feet. But I really, really enjoyed it. And I had a lot of performance on stage. And each and every performance where I was able to entertain people, make them laugh, it just made me happy. And besides dancing, I was really into imitating people. And I was doing like some little acting and dancing shows in front of my grandparents, and I still remember their smiles and their laughter. It really, really filled my heart with joy. And it was so powerful for me because I was able to connect to people, make them laugh, make them feel something, and I didn't have to talk to them. It was awesome. After the ballet years, I was dancing ballet for 11 years. I also had some theater performance in school, and I joined a theater club. And each and every performance made all that fear that I had inside disappear, and my confidence grew. I knew from an early age on that performing arts were my thing. Actually, performing arts were my way out of the small village I grew up in, and my way out of all my fears and all my limitations. And I felt, I wasn't aware of that when I was a child, but now looking back, I felt that performing arts, they actually helped me grow. They shaped me, and they made it possible for me to explore parts inside of me that I didn't even know existed. It was a real struggle, though, to integrate performing arts into my life completely, because I grew up in a very conservative household. And my grandparents and my mother, they were really happy that I was doing all these beautiful things like dancing, singing, writing. But a career in performing arts? Hell no. I mean, they saw me doomed to starve, and they said, you will never make a living with performing arts. Do something that makes sense. Now, I was passionate about art, but at that point in time, I was so torn in between. But because I knew performing arts, acting, dancing made me happy, but I also wanted to make my family proud. And I decided I give in, I just do it as a hobby, and I study medicine. From all the subjects, I study the one that takes a lot of, discipline. I take the one where I have to put a lot of discipline in, which I did in the beginning, but then I went to Munich and I studied medicine, and I discovered this dance school, and I was regularly taking dance classes, and in the evening I went to the clubs and I was dancing, and I really enjoyed myself. I was so passionate about it. I said, I cannot continue to do something that I'm not passionate about, because how can I be really good at something if I don't love it? And after 2 years of medical school, I just dropped out, and I didn't tell my family. I moved to Vienna with my best friend because I loved Vienna. My mother visited me half a year later, but she was very happy, because after 2 weeks in Vienna, it was a really weird coincidence. I met a dancer in the subway, and he saw me walk in, and he was like, "Hey, are you a dancer?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know?" He's like, "I just felt it." I know it sounds like out of a movie, but this is what happens. And I joined their crew, and we had a lot of performance in different clubs. That was from crumping performance. I don't know if you guys know about it. Crumping is like a dance style that originated in LA, and it's very energetic, and people paint their faces, and it's so much energy, and it always really helped me to, bring out all that energy. So we went to different clubs. I was starting to teach dance classes, and I just had a blast. I met really, really cool people, and then I joined a really cool production that was at Volkstheater. It was a classical play, Die Räuber. You probably read it in school by Schiller. But that was a modern adaptation, and I was a hip-hop dancer. You can see me there. I met actors, dancers, singers, and I really felt the power of performing arts taking over. And my joy and my passion became my driving force, and nobody could stop me. Performing arts became my purpose, became my meaning. They became my way of expressing myself. And then I did something, I took all the savings that were actually saved from my parents for my medical studies, and I moved to New York. I made my dream come true. I went to the city that never sleeps, because when I was in New York, all of a sudden, I met so many like-minded people, dancers, actors. It was amazing, and it was such a strong force for me. I felt it so much, and I really have to tell you, I'm beyond grateful that I'm here on stage today, and I can show you, and I can share with you how performing arts have taken me all around the world, from Munich to Vienna to New York to Lagos, Nigeria. I was working with amazing people. I met so many different people, and I can tell you the power of performing arts is strong. Where does this strong power come from? Well, if you think about it, the origin of performing arts, think about music, think about dance, think about theater. It all has a long, long history and lineage. Music, the origin dates back to prehistoric times. Dance has been part of humanity ever since. Ritual, ceremonial dance, and theater was born 2,000 years ago. So it's a long, long lineage in history. And the purpose of performing arts is not just entertainment. It's a spiritual meaning. It's a deeper meaning. And for me, through my life, I can tell you, it had transformative character. It transformed me from a shy child that was afraid of strangers into an artist that enjoys being on stage and sharing my passion. And the interesting thing is, or we could ask, where does this transformative character come from? Well, when you're an artist, you have to go through a process. And that process is actually, it takes you on a journey of transformation, because first you start with an idea that moves you, and that has the potential to move others. And you have to find a way to connect to that idea, to make that idea your own, to embody that idea. The body is the most important tool of any performing artist. The posture, the gesture, the facial expression, the voice, everything matters in the process of transporting an idea to the audience. And then we come to the second step, preparation, getting ready. That phase, that stage of the process of an artist before he can present his art to an audience is the one that takes much, much more time than the performance itself. And I would call that process of preparation that one with the most transformative, with the most potential to transform a person. Because while you're preparing, rehearsing, training, you get in touch with yourself. I can tell you. You get to know your strength and your weaknesses. You get to know your emotions. You get to know your limits. And that process is a very intense process. It can take you up to heaven and down to hell. So you need to mentally prepare yourself for it. You need to have the mind of a warrior, strong and determined, ambitious and driven, but also calm and collected, unafraid to fail, unafraid to disappoint others. Now I want to know from you, what are your biggest fears when you're in front of a stage or when you're in front of people? Raise your hand. What is your biggest fear when you're talking in front of an audience? You probably had presentations, right? Don't look at me like that, like, I've never been in front of people. So raise your hand. What is the biggest fear? You have no fear? Yes, please.
Freezing and not be able to say another word and then just like running off the stage because I'm so disappointed in myself and others are also disappointed.
Wow. Okay. She gave us the whole 360 round, okay? Yeah. Anybody else? Any fear that she didn't mention? Yes? Yeah. Very good point. Thank you. When the pointer is not working and I can't handle the pointer, exactly, you summed it all up. We're afraid that we make mistakes. We're afraid that people don't like the performance. They talk bad about us. They laugh about us. Now, how do you overcome that fear of being criticized, ridiculed, or even shamed? Well, for me, it is actually my desire and my vision to share and express myself. And that desire has become much, much stronger than all my fears. And, you know, if you think about it, if I don't share, or if you don't share what's inside of you and wants to be shared, what is our purpose? There's so much inside. If I would still hide under the table and not share what I want to share, how could I discover my potential greatness? How could anyone witness my potential greatness? How? Yes, a vision. You know, we're all inspired by movies, by concerts, by theaters, but how exactly does this happen? I'm standing here while you're watching, while you allow your senses to be touched by what I have to offer. I'm standing here with everything I have, everything I lack, with everything I wish for. I'm standing here and you are sitting there with all your hopes and all your beliefs and all your aspirations. I'm standing here and you're watching with a mind willing to understand or a mind not willing to understand. I'm standing here and you are listening, and just by the law of nature, my words find a way to connect with your mind. Even though you might not like them, they will enter, as long as you pay attention. To pay attention is the main reason for us of any performance, to attract attention and emotional response. And attention is the most valuable currency we have. Remember that. Attention is the most valuable currency we have. Focused attention on a subject and an emotional response can easily create responses in us and elevate us. And not just create emotional responses, but also have a long-lasting effect. Because you might know, learning involves emotions and images. And if we attach emotions and images to our learning experience, it doesn't matter what we learn, it will have an effect on us. And now, this focused attention and creating emotions is such a powerful thing. And now I'm speaking to all of you, each and every one of you. I really encourage you to really get engaged into the experience of performing arts. How do you do that? Maybe you're not an artist. Maybe you don't even like dancing and all these things. But next time when you listen to a song or you watch a movie or you go to a concert, become aware of the effect that performing art has on you, the sensations in your body, the emotions, the images that come up. And when you give a presentation the next time, approach the presentation with the mind of a child, playful, enthusiastic, present in the now. And the last thing I want to give to you, last but not least, dive into performing arts. If you think you can't dance, go to a dance class. If you think you can't sing, go to a singing class. Until today, I did a lot of different stuff, but I still dive into something new, and you cannot imagine what happens when you really face your fear, even though it's a field that you absolutely have no touch with, but you will encounter yourself in ways that you cannot imagine. And only if you are touched inside, you can touch others. And that's what I wish us all, to touch and be touched. Thank you.